Awesome. We are back. Kathleen Lisson and Peggy MacArthur, and we are having a great discussion. So I'm letting Kathleen run these. I'm giving her full reign. So Kathleen, take over.
Yep. So this is like the part 2. This is like the second interview with my friend Peggy. Peggy has a long-standing case of lymphedema, and she recently went on a GLP-1 agonist. And I kind of wanted to record in real time what her emotions, what her side effects, what her journey is on this. So how long since your first injection?
So I've had 5 injections now. So I'm like 4.5 weeks in on the treatment. Let's see, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So 2 days ago was my 5th injected. Now, how it works is they start you off on a really, really low dose for the first month. So the first 4 was a really low dosage. And then this week was my first, I guess, real dose. So it doubled from what I was taking.
Anything different this week than in previous weeks?
Okay, so I'll just recap because I know I had just started, the last time we interviewed. So last week at this time, I think is when we said, "Hey, let's do another. We need to get another interview in." And I was like, "Yeah," because I was like, my pain has gone like down just so much. Like, I would say on a good day, I would have like a pain scale of 8, and on a bad day, it was 10, right? And that's how I've been living for several months now. And now I would say, I'm more around a 7, a 6 or 7, and that's tolerable. Like you can function with that. I still am in pain, but it's just a big difference. Now, Monday, the weather took a big old turn. It like decided to finally be fall here. It was like 107 3 weeks ago, and now it's cold. And Monday, I was really achy and I was really frustrated because I was like, what is going on? And then I was like, okay, every time the weather changes, I do experience more pain. So, I had to like kind of step back and say, okay, that's what's going on here. So Tuesday, I took my full dose. And previously, I wanted to say, I just very light to no side effects. I feel full, if I eat something or eat too much of something, I'll feel, heartburnish, like just that. Ugh. But that's really the only thing. And that's mitigated by just not overeating. And that's just my food portions are much smaller than they were, but I was still getting hungry, and still eat. Now, since I've taken this full dose, I have to really like go, oh, I need some nutrition today. I have not felt hungry at all. So I'm kind of learning this new way of, and they say you can eat whatever you want, but the thing is you do know, like, well, if I have a cookie, I'm going to be full, so I should probably eat something that's good for me because I'm going to eat like this much of it. So I think that's kind of where that is, and so I'm still now after the full dose. I did the first Tuesday and Wednesday. I did have a lot of just feeling full and but the first couple of days after my first shot, I kind of took a minute for my body to fully get in the groove. So I think that's probably just because today I'm feeling much better than I was. And like I said, also the weather did a change on me. So I was, combating that because with the lymphedema, cold is not my friend.
Yeah. Yeah, and we know that like changes in barometric pressure as well is an issue for people. Like it's the pressure of the atmosphere on your body is like compression. So if there's less pressure in the atmosphere, if it's like a low pressure, then it's like less compression on your body. So and doesn't our body just love to swell into any nook and cranny we give it? So
Exactly.
yeah.
Yep, that is true. So the other thing that I wanted to tell you about is I do have a mild kidney disease, and so I went to see my kidney doctor 2 weeks after I started this, and I was a little bit worried because I was really liking, how I was feeling, and I was like, he's going to tell me no way. And he sat down and he was like, "So what's going on?" And he's always been very concerned about my lymphedema. He does not like that I have swollen legs.
Mhm.
Um, anyway, so he was like, "That's interesting." He's like, "Did you know that they're doing studies on this, and so far it's looking like that it can actually increase kidney function." He's like, now it's not any, it's still in studies. There's not, it's not approved or anything for kidney function. He's like, but I'm interested. We're just going to keep continue to follow up. And he was very adamant, don't get dehydrated, because that is, one of the things that can happen is you can get dehydrated. So he's like, just don't get dehydrated. Make sure you're getting plenty of fluids and drinking water. And so that was kind of encouraging because I was like, wow, this is, not only, helping my lymphedema, helping me lose weight. By the way, I weighed today. I don't usually weigh every day, but I weighed today just for you. And 12 pounds I've lost in the last,
Wow.
what, 4.5 weeks. So yeah,
Wow.
not bad. Not bad at all. So, and a lot of that is on my legs. I know because I wear a thing on my leg when I'm doing my chi machine. So I've lost 3 centimeters on my ankle. So I know
Mm,
that a lot of that is lymphatic fluid finally kind of releasing and going down. So that's definitely a win.
yeah.
Um, but yeah.
So your morning routine for your lymphedema is the same?
I
Like,
haven't changed anything. Yeah, I'm still get up, I shower, I lay on my chi machine, I do a full body massage, I put my compression garment on. You
mhm,
know, everybody knows I wear Juzo, fit to make compression garment, and I wear it every day. There's never a time that I don't, because if I don't, then I swell and I hurt. So, I
yeah,
mean, in order to move, I have to. So I wear my compression garment still every day. None of that has changed. What has changed is the ability to walk up and down the steps without pain,
yeah,
sit down and stand up without pain. So those are kind of the really, things that I've been really noticing. Even Monday, when I was kind of feeling a lot of pain, and Tuesday I was still feeling a little pain, and I was really frustrated. And then I thought about it, and I was like, I took the dogs for 2 walks. That's 2 miles of walking. Now, 6 weeks ago, I could barely go up and down the stairs, let alone, you
mhm,
know, go for walks. So I'm like, okay, I'm still doing good. Even though I'm,
yeah,
feeling a little more aches and pains, I'm still doing good.
yeah, yeah. So what I'm hearing from our conversation is there's 2 things, that we need to pay attention to. And the first one is going to be, nutrition and really focusing because it's something you have to pay attention to. It's not just going to be you're naturally hungry and you look at the clock and now it's time to have it. And the other thing is hydration, that you really have to have the resources with you to make sure that you get your proper hydration, so you're not waiting and oh my gosh, suddenly it's 8 o'clock at night and you're trying to drink half of your fluids from the day, which
And
happens
you
to a lot of us. But it's we're not going to have the that there's less of a wiggle room to be like, oopsie, because we really
Well,
have.
and not only that, but, because that's, I would, like, chug water, 3 or 4 times a day,
Mhm,
and I can't do that because it feels too full and it's painful. So I have my water with me, like, literally I have water bottles in every room
mhm,
and just constantly taking sips of water, which is a learning curve for me because like I said, even though I've always drank a lot of water, I did a lot more of the chugging it instead of, just kind of constantly drinking. So that's
sipping.
been a change. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. And there's easy, like, I have had one at home, and then my husband actually like it, so he stole it, which is a water bottle, and but you can find these anywhere online, and it has, like, little times like line
Yeah, I've
8
seen
o'clock,
those.
10 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Yeah, so that's an easy, if you're just like, I just don't remember, how am I going to figure this out? There's also apps on the phone, free apps that will just ping you every couple hours and say, hey, it's time to drink water. So there's a lot of things that we can do. Everybody needs more hydration. So there's a lot of opportunities that we can
Mhm.
add the water into our life to really make.
And whether I'm on these shots or not, like water is, if you have lymphedema, water is important. And I've been to doctors that have literally told me, well, maybe your legs are swollen because you drink too much water.
Nope.
I yes, doctor, that's probably it.
Nope.
When you have lymphedema, you need that extra water to dilute that lymphatic fluid so that it can be moved, because it's not, you're not, the myth with lymphedema is your body's holding water, and your body is not holding water. You're not retaining water. Your lymphatic fluids are not moving, and those are two separate things. So diuretics, those are a big no-no if you have lymphedema, because you don't want to dehydrate. You don't want to pull the water out. You actually need the hydration.
So it's important for everybody to look into hydration. And these are, once you find, or anyone finds something that works from them, definitely keep it. And then a lot of us are water evangelists, like share these good tips with other people, because I think that's a big confusion point, especially when someone is newly diagnosed. And especially
Mhm.
if you start getting into the garments where it's tough to remove the garment to pee. The idea is like, well, maybe if I drink less water, I won't have to take that full, stocking garment off in order to urinate. But we can't get into that where we're not drinking enough water, because it's a downhill slope.
And I've done that, like, because my garment is a two-piece full pantyhose, like both legs. It goes up my abdomen, and so I have to take it down and pull
Mhm.
it back up. And especially if I'm doing something in the summer where I'm out and I'm going to have to use a public bathroom and I'm going to be sweaty, I'm like dreading it, because it's not fun, but it's also, what I've learned is every single time I have tried to take water away so I don't have to pee as much, then I pay for it for like 3 days. So
Yeah.
it's just struggle with putting your garment up and down, because it's really, it's not worth, the pain that you're going to be in from being, dehydrated.
Yeah. 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 And do you have tips on, like, how do you eat?
How do I eat?
How do you schedule the food? How do you, like, do you have a lot of nutritious food in the fridge? Like, when you're,
So
because your stomach's not telling you anything.
no, my stomach is not telling me anything. My husband has been like commenting how hungry he is the last couple of days. And I'm like,
Because the food's not there.
maybe food's not just around.
Food's not
Hmm,
there. No one's
odd.
cooking when he gets home. Poor guy. Aw.
Oops. Um, but no, I used to like come downstairs in the morning. I would eat breakfast, and then I would, take care of the dogs, and, sit down and start working. And now, I'm just not really hungry enough. Like, I'll go to the refrigerator and I'll look and I'll be like, maybe in a couple hours.
Mhm.
And then, sometime around, this time between 11 and 1, I will just go and say, okay, let me eat something. I have apples. I also did a test recently. So I have done a couple of things. I also did a test recently, to find out what foods caused me inflammation.
Mm.
It was, what, a microbiome test. And so I've kind of just said, okay, well, we're trying to get this inflammation down. So how about I really focus on eating the foods that are my superfoods, the ones that do not cause inflammation at all. So, apples are good for me. Sweet potatoes, which I love sweet potatoes, so win-win. Um, Turkey, of all things, is the only meat that doesn't cause inflammation for me. I'm not a big turkey fan. Not a big fan of turkey.
No, you're not.
No,
Ever seen
no.
you.
In fact, our family often doesn't even get it for Thanksgiving. But I guess this year we're eating turkey. But it's something that I can have a small bit of and feel like I had a little bit of protein in my life.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, and then same thing at dinner. Just really okay. I'm gonna make myself and kidney beans, which I love beans. So I'm kind of like hiding the turkey and the sweet potatoes and the beans. But yeah, so I feel like that's and anybody that's been around me at all knows that diet is one of those things that I've always been very conscious
Mhm.
of because I do know that the foods that I eat do affect my lymphedema. And I've done crazy things. And so this is, now I'm just kind of like I'm not putting good or bad labels on food. I'm just putting like, okay, I need to get my nutrition in. So I need to make sure I eat this. And then, if I want a cookie later, like if I can fit a cookie in after I've eaten something good, then sure, go for it.
Yeah.
Or ice cream. But it's just, I just haven't had the desire,
Yeah.
which is nice because sugar is a real addictive thing. So to have sugar addiction broken without even trying is kind of fun. It's like
Yeah.
because this actually levels your blood sugar. I don't know, we haven't really talked about all the things that this medication does, but one of the things is that it keeps you from going, the spikes and the valleys. I
Mhm.
struggled with hypoglycemia, when I was younger, and so I know those spikes and valleys, and it feels, even emotionally, it feels a little bit more stable.
Mhm.
So I can feel that. So, and those, I think because the blood sugars always level, you're not wanting that food because it's your body's not like, oh my God, you're low. We need something right away.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I think that's one of the other big benefits.
So it's funny because we were talking about putting each other on the spot, but I think you've had such a long journey with different diets. What is your experience with having the candid conversations with your loved ones and your family? Because I think if we don't have an honest, heartfelt conversation when our diet changes and our loved one's diet doesn't, sometimes it's hard to get them on board, and maybe they're superficially on board but they're secretly like frustrated. And I had my own personal, like, I figured out just exactly how much like digestive upset gluten was having for me. So like, but I had to kind of take my husband alongside because it affects where I go out to restaurants, it affects the food that I bring home. He's cooking his own food, and I've been a long time vegetarian. So, like, I'm not cooking meat for him. I don't know any questions to answer him about, like, where is the chicken? I don't know where the chicken is. Like, you have to ask the guy at the supermarket about where the frozen chicken is because your wife has never bought frozen chicken in her life. But how is, and you have a very loving, supportive family, but what is, this might be something that someone who is new to just trying to take the GLP-1 agonist, all of a sudden at the 3-4 week mark, like the husband's going to get hungry and talk about how but it's traditional, and this might be the food, especially during like the holidays that are coming up, but even each and every like meal we have together, that's a time where your loved one got to sit and spend time with you. And if you're not even thinking about being at the table, like how is that changing the relationship?
And this is something that I saw a bigger, thing with, in my past than now because my family is so used to me being on my own eating path.
Yep.
And, so and I think it is really important. Um, when I met Merrick, I was raw plant-based, and, he loved me, so he ate a lot of raw plant-based with me, but also, not every meal, not all day, every day.
Yeah.
But we would like he would go out to raw restaurants with me and, do things like that and not complain about it. But at the flip side, like he's known for his spaghetti. Like he makes like amazing Detroit style spaghetti, and that's his thing. And I had never even tasted it for years,
Mm.
because I didn't eat any of that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And I think that it's things like that that we as a culture really put a lot of love into our food. And when somebody's not eating what you prepared, or if you're not eating, with your family, it feels like that, well, you don't love me, or we don't love you, or, it feels like there's something missing in that.
Yeah.
For a long time, we've kind of been, I'll prepare my food. He'll prepare his food, because he's a better cook than I am. So the kids like immediately were like, "Yeah, if Merrick's cooking, we'll eat." Um,
Finally. Go into the kitchen
so
now.
finally, so he just kind of and he likes to cook and he's good at it. So he would do and we would sit down and eat. I would have my own thing, or if I could eat portions of what was being made, but usually I would just kind of have my own thing. So then, I went through a few months where I was just eating everything because I had just kind of said, screw this. Like, if I'm eating strict and nothing's working, I might as well just
Yeah.
experience this food thing.
Yep. Yeah.
And so, we were eating meals together and I was, kind of eating things. And then, here we start again. And I was kind of worried about it because I was like, I kind of missed that. And then, it hasn't been a problem. Like I don't miss it because I don't miss food, you know.
Yeah.
But I do realize that I haven't sat down because I will go nibble when I'm thinking, oh, when I feel like I can handle a nibble, like I'll go, eat a small portion of something. And then a lot of times that hasn't been coordinating with Merrick's. And that's why I think he just forgets to eat because I'm not like, hey, let's eat together.
Yeah.
And so he was kind of forgetting to eat. And so anyway, I said all that to say it is important. It is important to have a conversation and do something that works for you, which may be sitting down at the table and eating different things. Maybe it is, every one night a week, everybody eats what you're eating, or, whatever it is, however it works for your family. But
Mhm.
I think letting them understand that the foods you eat really do matter with the way your body feels. Your family doesn't like seeing you in pain. They don't like seeing your swollen limb. They don't. They may tell you, "Oh, it doesn't bother us," but it bothers them that you're in pain. So every time, Kathleen, I can be like stone cold, no emotions, and I talk to Kathleen Lisson, and it's
Yeah.
waterworks around these parts.
Yeah. Because that's the deep thing. I want to really dive into, if we're going to do this and we're going to talk about this, I want people to know about what I think the tripping hazards are that will get us off the path. And
Yeah,
definitely family and how we deal with family, and just coming out and having the honest conversation and being like, look, this is how I'm going to help treat myself, and to get everyone at least understanding that they have to be on board, and at least understanding why things are going to happen the way they are, because a lot of it is like, how are we going to, what, it's your birthday and I can't take you out for dinner, like, and you're not eating your cake, and like, why isn't,
right.
where is Thanksgiving, and there's not going to be, she's not happy because she didn't eat pie and she didn't eat my marshmallow thing, and and then because if you didn't say something specifically, or else it will be like, I can just
Yeah,
imagine, like, it's going to be a whole bunch of like, why can't you just take one day off of this? And it's like, it's
right.
not a choice, it's a medication. Like,
Yeah. And before, when I was on my my strict diets. I could take a day off if I wanted to, but even that, I would find that, eating junk, I would pay for it for 3 days. It's like,
Yeah.
it wasn't worth it for me. I understand you wanted me to eat that, but now I'm in pain for 3 days, or I'm swollen for 3 days, or and so I think my family, because I did have, really deep conversations about this. They were right beside me the whole way. That it's been very easy for me. And I do know that some families just don't communicate the way that we do, or, have different, I'm self-employed. My husband's self-employed. So like things are, change on the whim anyway. Like, so I think that we are just very, flexible with a lot of things in our family, which is nice.
Yeah. Because you
But
have,
if your family isn't, you need to find a way to let them know that this is important for your health.
yeah,
Because once you start feeling better, you're going to be able to do a lot more, you
yeah,
know. And
yep,
if you love to cook, you can still cook, you just probably won't eat as much of it as I just personally, if I could never cook a day in my life, I would be fine with that. It's not something I do for enjoyment. It's
not,
something
yeah,
I've done, for survival.
yep, yeah, exactly, yeah. So it's important to really get down to where they really understand as much as you can, because some people you won't be able to
Yeah.
reach. But like you eating their food or not eating their food is not you loving them or not loving them. In a lot of our families of origin, that's how it is. And a lot of these stories begin at childhood, where if you feel sorry and if you feel sad and something happened to you, then you get a cookie, or it's
Yeah.
something good happened to you and you get a cookie. And so it's our relationships with that inner conversation and the outer conversation in our families are very like deep rooted, to where sometimes you don't see it. It's just a part of your environment.
And I haven't really had this happen, recently, because I haven't really gone anywhere. But, before, we'd have friends from out of town or something. Let's go out to dinner, and they wanted to go to a place that I couldn't eat anything. So I've always, you've seen me. I've carried my food with me. I'm like,
Yep,
I'll take care of me. I'm going to make
yep,
sure I'm taken care of. And, we'd sit down and eat, and I'd say, oh, I'm not ordering anything. And the amount of times that people would absolutely lose their mind. And I'm like,
yep,
going out to dinner is about the conversation. It's about me getting to see you and get to hang out with you. I'm having my water. I'm enjoying the conversation. I'm not feeling like I'm missing out on anything. Like, and so it's really about, your relationship with food and our culture's relationship with food.
yeah,
It's really something that you have to decide. Is your health worth, this? And get a couple people on your side so they can advocate for you,
yep,
because
yeah,
my husband will be like, no, she's fine.
yeah,
Like, leave her alone.
yeah,
Because he knows when I get home, I'll be like, are you kidding me? Like, I wanted to have a nice conversation with them. And
yeah,
the whole time we were at dinner, they talked about the fact that I wasn't eating. Like,
yep,
that was the whole topic. Come on,
yes.
so
Yep.
yeah.
And as someone who's been a long time vegetarian for 30 years, the conversation has changed since 30 years ago, but it
Right.
really is the second you step off of the path, even a little baby step, the conversation is instantly, the focus is on you and your choice and what you're doing. And even if it's asked in the kindest way and they're very curious about it, like it has to be something that we're prepared for,
Yeah.
that like when we're going to go out to eat with someone who's never eaten with us before, we are going to be the focus, unfortunately, of conversation for 5 to 10 minutes. And there's going to be a lot of questions, and that everyone is going to be staring at our plate.
Yeah.
And you can't just eat in peace out there.
No.
And it's much more comfortable now than it is, and it's I really like living in Southern California because it's much more comfortable here, with where everyone, there's not an eyelash batted that I want the gluten-free pizza, because gluten-free pizza is there. Like, it's
Right.
LAX. I had a gluten-free pizza at LAX. It was fantastic. They have gluten-free buns with the like Impossible burgers at LAX, and it's very great, but I had to do all my eating in LAX because I did not think I would get that same understanding outside
Indifferent,
of
yeah.
Southern California. Yeah. So I think we're in a really new, like food tolerant place because there's just so many
Different people are doing different things,
totally
and
different
nobody,
things
yeah.
every 6 months. So you
When
just
we travel, especially when I was raw plant-based, there were many times that, I would have an apple for a meal because there was like, there's no choices. I'm like, "I guess I'm having a handful of carrots and an apple for dinner because that's, what's available to
that's
me."
it.
So
Yep.
we are really spoiled in Southern California because the options are, really open to us.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's all something that has to be um the same superpowers that you developed having to rap every day and deal with your
Yeah,
lymphedema. Like this is just yet another
and yet another, yeah.
eyes are on your plate, just like the eyes are on your limb, and the conversation just is
But
there.
I think the one thing about, this that differs from anything I've ever done before is I don't have to try. Like, none of this is coming difficult. Like, I was a little freaked out to give myself a shot the very first time, but the needle is like a hair, like, you don't even feel it,
Yeah.
and as long as you put it in really slow, you're fine. You don't even feel it.
Yeah.
That was the biggest, like, freak out was that, and then once I got past that, I was like, I don't have to think, like right before I did my double, when I started my new dose, I
Mhm.
was still feeling hungry a lot and stuff. And I was like, I'm going to go get some chocolate ice cream because I don't know if if I'm going to,
With
and
the
I was
loud
glad I did because I haven't wanted it. I definitely haven't had room for it.
yeah.
So it was, it's just kind of like, it's easy. I don't have to try. I don't have to like feel like I can't do this because I don't want it. I don't crave anything. So
Yeah.
that makes it easier. Now, since you did put me on the spot, I'm gonna tell the whole world about your hypothesis, your
Yep.
theory. Okay. And there's no, just for disclaimers purpose, this is not medically proven or tested. This is just something that
It's wild
hap-
speculation.
it's speculation. Let's just call it a
Opinion alert.
speculation.
Opinion alert.
Yes. So, because some people that are on this have, a lot more side effects than other people, and I tend to be the person that I'm scared to do anything because if there's a 3% chance of a side effect, this girl right here.
Yep.
And so I was again a bit worried, and I really haven't had any side effects. I mean, the little fullness or heartburnish, from time to time because I've, kind of overdone it or something. Um, but the interesting theory, speculation, is that people that are wearing compression are having less side effects, and that's just something that I think you observed, or you just kind of thinking about this. So let's talk about that.
Yeah. So I heard randomly that there may be a reduction in side effects for people who are pregnant who wear compression. And then I thought to myself, I wonder if there's an opportunity to add compression to other things that may have the same like side effects as pregnancy sometimes has. So that interested me, and I think it would be great to see more people as it gets wider and wider of people who have lymphedema and are wearing compression. And then I think also, is it just the compression, or is it the compression, its activity on the lymphatic system itself? So you do a routine that we kind of talked about earlier, like you have a routine to support
Mhm.
your lymphatic system every day, and compression is one part of that routine. So I don't know if we can tease out just that. Like, is it the self MLD? Is it the compression? And then also, it may be that you had good support from your physician. Um, that this is something that you're doing in with support from the doctor. So it's kind of like you're feeling more confident rather than getting medically gaslit, which has happened so much of your life.
Yes, yes. Having a doctor think that that he actually wants to help me and is excited. I feel like every time I go into the office, I'm like a little kid, all giddy, and I'm like, "Stop! Like, just be normal, Peggy. Quit being so weird." But it's so exciting to have somebody act like they care.
Yes.
That I literally feel like I literally am telling myself, like, "Stop being weird, Peggy. Calm down. Like, just calm down." They don't You don't need to be excited because a doctor is listening to you. This should be normal. This should be normal.
But I think it's good. I think it's good to come in there because you're sending the message to your immune system. You're sending the message to your
Yeah.
body that this is a safe thing that's happening to you. This is not something that the internal message that you're getting is like, this is, we're getting some good healthcare here. And
Yeah.
this is something that is helping us. So I think
And
that,
that's probably so important for everything. If people could feel like their doctors were taking care of them, I think, I mean, there's a lot of things I've done that I feel has helped my lymphedema, and everybody said that won't help your lymphedema, and I'm like, I don't care if it's I can't say it now. All of a sudden, I don't care if it's my imagination making it
yes,
work.
yeah,
Placebo effect.
yeah,
I don't care what it is, but it's working. And like, I don't care what your proof says because this works. And I think having a doctor that is like, hey, I believe this will work. Let's try it. And if it doesn't, and if you have side effects, we're going to take care of that. We're going to take care of you. We're going to take care of you. You're safe here.
yeah, yeah,
What a concept.
yeah. Yeah, but the state of your nervous system coming in, getting the medication, and then the overall state of your nervous system that you are helping yourself. And this is not, there's not a lot of negative self talk, like,
Yeah.
I'm ugly, I'm fat, this is my own fault, like, this is my punishment, I deserve everything I get, type of thing. Like, that's going to be like the ball rolling down the hill, just getting gianter and gianter. So to come with joy to the appointment because the surgeon, the doctor really took the time to get to know you and to understand your condition and to validate you as a person, and that, if there's anything that happens, that there's someone on the other end of the text or the phone, um,
Right.
that wants to help you and is really interested. And I love the fact that it's not just one, but now it's two. That
That's what I was gonna say, is
kidney
also my kidney
professional.
doctor is like, "You know what? Let's try this. Let's go
Yeah,
for it. Let's keep our eye on your numbers, but let's see. I'm interested." And
yeah,
he also feels like he's like, "This may bring your numbers up." And, when you have kidney disease, basically they tell you like your kidneys don't get better. Our job is to make sure they don't get worse.
yeah,
But I my kidneys have gotten better because I am very crazy with my diet and I'm
yes,
very particular about things. But to think, wow, this could even make the numbers go higher where I'm maybe no longer in that category of kidney disease. So that would be really cool. But regardless, just the fact that he was like, smiling and interested and like, I've been hearing about this and now I get to see what
yeah,
let's follow this.
and yeah,
So
in one of his patients. So
yeah,
yeah,
I think he's kind of excited that he gets a little test patient of his own.
yes, yep, yep,
But talking about the compression, I think that compression is really good for people in general. Compression socks. I mean, obviously, you don't have to wear the crazy medical device that I wear, but but just compression socks. If you fly, if you stand a lot, if you are sitting a lot, any of those things, compression is just so good for you in general. I really, really want to emphasize it. I don't know if that's why maybe I'm not having any side effects. Maybe it's because I'm finally feeling like I'm cared for. I don't know what it is, but either way, if you're not wearing compression garments and people have said you should wear compression garments, you should.
yeah. And I think if we're thinking about some of the additional things that GLP-1 agonists do, with related to inflammation, like adding on a compression garment, adding on doing things to help your lymphatic system is only going to add more and more anti-inflammatory things into the mix, which can only
Exactly.
be good because compression is in the right dose. So you have to get it. If you want medical grade compression, it should be prescribed by someone who can take a look at your condition. But it can help the venous system. It can help the lymphatic system. A lot of people have like the beginnings of venous disease that don't know about it. And if you have swelling in the legs, that's something that I definitely want someone to look at. The people with lymphedema know because they've been diagnosed, but there's a lot of like lymphatic system issues that are out in the general public. Like like primary lymphedema is just amazingly underdiagnosed because who would diagnose it? So like your regular doctor doesn't even look at your legs
Right.
in a regular, if there's nothing wrong with you, that they're not going to really inspect and look at your legs unless there's something that comes to the level of like a diagnosis that requires a surgery or requires a pharmaceutical. So,
Well, and the other thing with primary lymphedema is, oh yeah, my mom had swollen legs. Oh yeah, grandma had swollen legs. Oh yeah, and it gets kind of dismissed.
mm-hmm.
And so that's with a lot of things that are, hereditary. A lot of things just get dismissed because when you say, hey, this is a problem, it doesn't look like everybody else is having this, and your family's like, oh no, Aunt Sue's like
Let's
legs are
start
like
legs.
that. Don't it's just nothing. She went to lots of doctors and they said it was nothing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you don't need to go to a doctor because she's already gone. They said it's nothing.
Yep.
And that's where I think a lot of the problem is because lymphedema has been so misdiagnosed and undiagnosed for so many years that when it is a primary situation, yeah, grandma and mom and everybody else may have gone to the doctor and been told they were fine or nothing, because
Yeah.
I went to the doctors for 8 years before I got a diagnosis. So and that was well, 26 years ago now, 26 and a half years ago.
Yeah.
So, there is a lot more information out there now than there used to be, but it's still not where it should be.
Yep. Yep. So, and it's exciting that we're having these conversations because I believe we're right at the very beginning. Like we're at the basement level of this, and we're going to see the build and grow as far as our understanding of this. The Lymphatic Education and Research Network is going to have a webinar. It's going to be December 4th, I believe. And then after that, it's going to be published on their YouTube channel. And then on their website, but it's Dr. Diane is going to talk about GLP-1 agonists in the treatment of lymphedema. So this is something that I'm very grateful that we're having this conversation together, and we can kind of have like one real world example of what's happening, and then kind of see where the resources and the information we can get from the upcoming Learn webinar to see the evidence that is being amassed behind this. And hopefully this will be something that will really help you in your journey. I know you've had, it went down in recent months. It got worse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was to a point where I was pretty desperate. I think I reached out to you and I was just like, I don't know. I don't want to do anything. I'm hurt. I'm in pain. I'm swollen. I was just gaining weight and I couldn't do anything. And I couldn't walk, couldn't do anything. And you suggested this. And I was like, well, that's weird. I've never heard this. Like, what is she talking about? And,
Always
and
on
I
the
put, I know it always cutting edge.
cusp.
And, I waited for a month or two and then I was like, what's this doctor's name? We're doing this.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna make this happen. So,
Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah,
So,
exciting to see such a good beginning. It sounds like you've had a good first month and a half on this journey.
yep.
So I'm
Yeah.
excited to see how you flourish with it. And then I'm also definitely excited to see what Learn has to teach us about this in December.
Yes, I am too.
Yep.
Yay. Well,
Yay.
thank you. And we'll be back in a few weeks.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.